You know that something is about to change. There's no denying it. A confession is in the air and you can feel it. If there were clarity, you wouldn't be waiting. If there were an answer, there would be no doubt. If there were trust, you wouldn't need signs. Pay attention to the details, unspoken messages, failing glances, promises that don't hold up. The truth is simple, but uncomfortable. There is a message that needs to be heard, and this revelation may not be what you want. The other person acts, ignores, hesitates, holds back. You react, wait, seek, question yourself. The pattern confirms nothing is resolved, anxiety increases, and the cycle starts over. This confession is not a relief, it is a shock, it is the information that changes everything. Each unspoken word weighs more than any action. You only realize what truly matters when silence becomes deafening. The bond remains, but only because you don't break it. Not by force, but by your choice to stay. The reality is that you are here, absorbing all this. The cost is yours, and when the truth is revealed, you will have to decide. Change does not come from the outside. It starts with you. The reality has already been presented. Have you realized that inaction is a form of response? Every hesitation of yours, every silence you accept as normal, feeds the dynamic. The other person acts, ignores, pretends not to hear, avoids eye contact. You react, wonder what is happening, seek explanations in disconnected moments, try to understand a pattern that falls apart in front of you. And it stays like this. Hope turns into a burden, and what should be light becomes a load. The expectation swallows any chance of clarity. The bond stretches but doesn't strengthen. But you hold on to the illusion that things can change, while time slips like sand through your fingers. The truth is that you confuse persistence with resistance. Respecting your pain does not mean tolerating the absence of the other. That is not love. It is suffocation. And each passing day you feel your breath becoming more difficult, each gesture becoming a reminder of what's missing. You start to see the signs even when you don't want to. The emptiness demands space and fights to be noticed. The other makes promises, changes, offers excuses, creates illusions. You react, modify your expectations, adjust your behavior, nullify yourself. The pattern confirms, promises are broken, you withdraw, the wear and tear intensifies. It's a continuous dance where the steps are known, but the music never changes. You can say that you are trying. You can justify your presence, but the reality is that what you truly desire is energy that reciprocates. You expect the other to make the move, to make the decision, to show what they feel. And in this process, you forget about yourself. You are stuck in a cycle of worn-out hope. The bond remains because you insist on maintaining it. There is no merit in this. It is merely the refusal to accept what is obvious. The fear of facing loneliness, of discovering that the wait was in vain, paralyzes any impulse to break up. You need to realize that the choice to stay has a cost, an emotional, physical, psychological cost. When you are confronted with the truth, the impact is undeniable. Your eyes open, but your heart still hesitates. This new perception should not be confused with relief, as guilt and shame accompany it. You feel that you have failed, but what really failed was not listening to yourself. The other makes disdain, repeats mistakes, distances themselves. You react, guilt yourself, convince yourself that you are not enough, question your worth. The pattern confirms, the pain persists, communication fails, the cycle continues. Freedom is frightening. You know this. What comes next is not the magical solution you were hoping for. It is the acceptance that you deserve a new beginning. The reality has already been presented, but the choice to recognize it is yours. Clarity demands courage, and courage demands action. You cannot continue waiting for the other to decide for you. When the truth finally emerges, it is like a breath of fresh air after a long imprisonment. This feeling, although painful, is liberating, because now every step you take is an affirmation that life should not be an endless expectation of crumbs. The time to allow uncertainty to define your existence has passed. The question now is, will you face the truth or continue in the cycle of denial? The other may remain in uncertainty for a long time, but you don't have to. Remaining in discomfort is a choice. The decisive moment approaches. When this confession happens, what will you do? Will you accept what is clear, or will you seek an unknown path? The stitching between hope and reality needs to be cut. You have the power to decide who enters and who leaves your life. The cost is yours. Every second lost is an investment without return. Every forced smile, every moment of doubt is a reminder that you need to find yourself again. The bond remains, but the decision to cut it is solely yours. The truth has already been presented. You are ready to face it, and when the time comes, your choice will echo. The feeling of loss comes to the surface. It plunges into your mind like a shadow, a constant presence that you try to ignore. But it is there, whispering, reminding you of what was left behind. You are not just dealing with the absence of the other. You are confronting the absence of yourself. The other acts, criticizes, disdains, withdraws. You react. You wonder if there was something you could have done differently. You seek answers in every silence. You try to justify the unjustifiable. The pattern confirms itself. The words become thorns. Every conversation a minefield. Poison disguised as affection. Have you ever considered that wear and tear can be a form of control? The need to always be available, to meet the expectations of someone who gives nothing in return, is a vicious cycle. It consumes you, and you watch it paralyzed, as if you were stuck on a screen, watching the days go by while life happens around you. The reality is undeniable. Time doesn't wait. Opportunities don't come back. And with each passing day, you question your worth. The doubt becomes a deafening echo. You find yourself repeating the same stories, listening to the same empty promises. The lament turns into a familiar song. The bond remains because you choose it, not for love but due to the aversion to abandonment. Fear chains you. You think you need the other person, but in reality, the other person needs you. Without you, the dynamic falls apart, and that scares you. Insecurity is a constant companion and you get lost, but what if you decided to look deeper? The other ignores your needs, minimizes your feelings, pretends everything is fine. You react by seeking external validation, nullifying yourself, convincing yourself that it has to be this way. The pattern confirms itself. The other's satisfaction becomes the priority while you empty out. But what does it really mean to be present? Being there physically is not synonymous with an emotional connection. Presence can be just an echo of what once was, and you feel that. You feel that there is a distance, an invisible barrier. You want to break it, but something stops you. A bond so strong yet so destructive that it becomes difficult to distinguish between love and necessity. Sometimes in the silence of the night, when everything is still, you look at yourself in the mirror, and what do you see? A reflection that bothers you, a version of yourself that got lost in unfulfilled promises and forgotten gestures, a human being who waits when they should act. The internal struggle intensifies. You wonder if this is the life you want to live. An endless wait, a frustrating expectation. There is no comfort here, there's only the pain of lack, and you know it even if you don't want to accept it. Every step you take towards change is a challenge. Every choice made weighs like lead, because change means breaking, and breaking is painful. The other acts offers crumbs of attention, fleeting moments that do not sustain. You react, cling to the little that is given, seek meaning in the insignificant. And the cycle repeats. The emptiness persists, dissatisfaction settles in. It follows you like a ghost. And when the moment finally comes, when the confession bursts between you like a bomb, how will you react? How will you deal with the raw truth about the relationship? When the masks fall, when the defenses are broken, will you have the courage to face what's in front of you? The cost is yours. The bond remains only because you allowed it. You allowed doubt, fear, and insecurity to define your choices. It's time to free yourself from this. The path is not easy, but it is necessary. You don't need the other's approval. You don't need permission to feel, to be, to act. The power resides in you, even if you have forgotten that. Change starts now, in this instant, in this choice you can make. Reality has already been presented. The challenge is to face what you know, but avoid accepting. The choice to stay or leave is yours, and with it the possibility to rewrite your story. Freedom can be scary, but continuing in this cycle is even more terrifying. Each hesitation of yours feeds the weariness. Each accepted silence is a shackle that keeps you tied to a state of dissatisfaction. There is no tomorrow that will bring answers. The answers are here in front of you, and when you hear them, the true confession will have begun. The future depends on your decision. Ties can be cut, and clarity can bring unexpected relief. Are you ready to embrace reality, or will you continue to live in the shadows of your own denial? The time to act is now. And remember, every choice brings a new beginning. The bond remains, but the rupture is now a viable possibility. You are the one who defines your path. And upon reflecting on this, you realize that disillusionment is not just a fleeting feeling. It is a frequency that infiltrates every aspect of your life. It's not just the absence of the other that weighs heavily. It's the absence of yourself. You recognize that the days have transformed into an endless cycle of unmet expectations. The light that should radiate from you has dimmed, replaced by shadows that inhabit your being. The other acts, withdraws, creates barriers, avoids contact. You react. Search for reasons. Try to understand. Convince yourself that it is temporary. The pattern is confirmed. The distance widens, dissatisfaction becomes routine, and the emptiness grows like a silent pandemic. You find yourself in an emotional labyrinth, trapped between the hope of what could be and the harsh reality of what is. Every interaction feels like a distant echo of something that was once complete, and deep within this disillusionment, a voice persists. It whispers that you need to stop sacrificing yourself for someone who doesn't value your efforts, but you hesitate. Fear is an invisible chain that prevents you from acting. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being alone, fear of facing the truth boiling beneath the surface. This reality is familiar, but confronting it can be devastating. You ponder, how far will you go to maintain this connection? How long will you accept being the only one invested? The bond remains, but it is not love. It is the dependency you have built, brick by brick, feeding an illusion that does not hold. The promises made in the silent nights have transformed into empty echoes. You want to believe that things can change, that one day everything will align again. But with each passing day, that belief becomes more fragile. The feeling of being in an invisible prison intensifies. You start to question if it's really worth fighting for something that only exists in your projections. You see yourself as a spectator of your own life, watching as time slips by, as moments become records of a past that will never return. Every laugh shared turns into a painful memory of what has been lost. The other does. Presents excuses, justifies behaviors, promises to improve. You react. You convince yourself, adapt. Try to ignore the signs. The pattern is confirmed. You nullify yourself while he continues to occupy space in your life without reciprocity. The anguish and frustration increase, but you refuse to accept that you are sinking into a sea of uncertainties. There is an internal voice that cries out for change, but the echo of the past makes you hesitate. Every step towards rupture is accompanied by the fear of the unknown, and if you completely surrender what is left of you, you question your identity, feel fragmented. Every piece of yourself that you give to this relationship is a piece that is lost forever. And so you start to understand that the true struggle is not against the other, it's against yourself. It's the internal battle between moving forward or staying in the comfort zone of familiar pain. The other does, ignores your need for change, minimizes your concerns, pretends that everything is fine. You react, silence your inner voice, suppress your emotions, convince yourself that this is how it should be. And in this vicious cycle, you discover that emotional dependency is a poison disguised as affection. Every smile you force yourself to use, every sweet word you utter, is a way of keeping yourself tied to something that does not bring satisfaction. The presence of the other, which should be a comfort, has become a constant source of anxiety. And then, reality strikes like lightning. You realize that you don't need permission to break free. The power resides in you, even if it is dust-covered under layers of doubt and fear. You are capable of rewriting your story, of rebuilding your identity without depending on someone who does not value your essence. Freedom is ultimately terrifying, but what is more frightening? Choosing the unknown or continuing to be imprisoned in the repetition of the known. You know that change demands pain, but the pain of transformation is temporary, whereas the pain of stagnation extends indefinitely. When the truth finally asserts itself, like a storm that can no longer be contained, you will realize how long the wait has been. And the sense of loss may be overshadowed by clarity. The other made their choices, and now you must make yours. The cycle you fed only exists because you allowed it to. The discomfort of the rupture will bring a pain that will yield a new beginning. You no longer need to wait. Your choice to put yourself first is the first step towards a more authentic life. And when you decide to cut the umbilical cord, You will feel the weight dissipate. Freedom is yours to claim. The reality has already been presented. Now, it is up to you to assess what you truly want. You have the power to change your destiny, and every second counts. These moments are your life. Seize them. And remember this, the only person who can decide which path to take is you.